The Celtics, under Brad Stevens, are no stranger to success. They have ventured into the conference finals 3 out of the last 4 years, and they've done it with an assorted cast of players, running from the prime Isaiah squad in 2015 to the all-flash no substance Kyrie Irving led team, to this year's squad led by a budding superstar in Tatum, accompanied by a solid core of Kemba, Brown, and Smart. Question for the Celtics after yet another conference finals exit isn't whether or not they can compete, but whether or not this core can find its identity and take that next step. While Hayward was undoubtedly a strong contributor to the Celtics, acting as a versatile defender, effective facilitator, and floor spacer, the Celtics have shown they don't need him. The same can be said for Kemba. In fact, their absences could actually help the Celtics by clarifying the team's offensive identity. Now, you'll be hard-pressed to find a perimeter trio with this blend of size, skill, and speed. Tatum, Brown, and Smart are two-way players who can create their own shot, defend multiple positions, and spread the floor. When I look at this core, I see striking similarities to the KD, Westbrook, Harden, OKC Thunder. And while this core is a bit older than when the Thunder went to the finals, they have just as much potential. Tatum, who is somehow only 22 years old, just made his first All-Star appearance last season, but he took his game to superstar level in the postseason. And while his box score was more plump than a Thanksgiving turkey, averaging 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists, it was the aura of which he plays that really struck me. Not only was he creating shots for himself at an elite level, he grew immensely as a facilitator, manipulating defenses to make plays for his teammates. Tatum may never be as great a passer as someone like LeBron, but his growth as a functional playmaker who can leverage his ability to score in bunches to improve his teammates, that will make him a top 5 talent, a transcendent player who can be his team's versatile offensive hub, similar to a Kawhi, James Harden, Luka, and so on. With Hayward cashing in his check in Charlotte and Walker being out for the beginning of the season, Tatum will have the space to translate his postseason ascension to the regular season and rework the crowded pecking order that saw the touches being evenly distributed between like 5 guys. And this distribution, while it looks good on paper, an ever-increasing amount of questions in crunch time, and ultimately led to the end of their postseason run. Telling y'all right now, do not be surprised to see Tatum play himself into playoff consideration with the added space and added responsibility from the get-go. The same thing can be said for Brown. He's been a glorified energy player in his first 4 seasons in the league, running and cutting for open looks as opposed to having plays run for him. But come postseason, he experienced career highs in points, rebounds, and assists, flashing his all-star potential. And while he may not be as polished of an offensive weapon as Tatum, he has the elite combination of size, athleticism, and a 3-point shot that keeps defenses honest. Not to mention his immense contributions on the defensive end. He's a legitimate lockdown type of player, and we saw this in that Raptors series. He took the heat out of Spicy P. And with the rapid growth of 2 of these guys, Brad Stevens will almost certainly have at least one on the court at each time. And that brings us to Smart, the heart and soul of this Boston team. He's currently the best passer out of the 3, and it's very easy to forget he was once a point guard at Oklahoma State, as he has turned himself into one of the premier defensive guards in the league. And it's clear Smart has the work ethic and dedication to make himself into a more complete player. Entering his 7th year in the league, Smart has shown his growth on the offensive side of the ball. He's gone from shooting around 30% from 3 and 72% from the line in his first 2 seasons to 35% from 3 and 82% from the line in his last 2. Now, there are still some times where he does too much, but he more than makes up for it with his constant floor spacing, defensive hustle, and energy in general. With this version of the Boston Celtics, Steven will have a different type of coaching challenge. Instead of reining in his young wings, he will have to squeeze every bit of productivity out of them. Until Walker returns, the only player on this roster who can create his own shot is 32-year-old Jeff Teague, and even that's debatable at this stage. No one knows how Kemba will respond to the stem cell injection he received in his knee a few weeks ago. We're praying for the best. But at this point, the best case scenario for Boston is that Kemba comes back to a situation in which Tatum, Brown, and Smart are firmly entrenched as the team's top 3 players. A player of Kemba Walker's profile isn't likely to improve. The opposite is true for Tatum, Brown, and Smart. And the reality of all of this is that Hayward and Walker were never going to be the best players on a championship team in Boston. Tatum specifically could play his way into MVP conversation this season, and Brown and Smart are the perfect surrounding cast for him. The Celtics should be, and I predict they will be, one of the best teams in the NBA this season and the years to come. That is all I have for y'all today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like this video. One thing that is not negotiable though is put something down in the comments. Let's chop it up, helps the algorithm, and this channel is discussion based. Until next time, stay safe.